is when Big Sills is at his best. Keeping moving the yardsticks here, and I got to tell you, I never in a million years ever thought that covering the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL would give me as much content as it does each and every single day. News everywhere. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We've got the latest on what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, too, the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. You should be saying that the entire offseason here. The defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Had a bunch of conversations this morning. We posted earlier today that it was pretty much a done deal that Kellen Moore would become the next head football coach of the New Orleans Saints. His resume is pretty impressive when you put it all together here. The Philadelphia Eagles, for another year, are going to be looking at another offensive coordinator for that quarterback, Jalen Hurts. 2024, 8th in total offense. Passing, 29th. Run game was 2nd in the league. Scoring, they were 7th. Red zone, 13th. Third down, they were 10th. He had an exceptional year. And you know what he did? They did it their way and what they wanted to accomplish with the stars in the huddle. Okay? They knew that the quarterback was not having the season that the running back was having. They went with the hotter hand. It's not a rip to go with the hotter hand. If you had a starting pitcher on your Phillies team and you had another starting pitcher who was a better pitcher, but the other guy had won 5 in a row, who are you going with? The better pitcher or the hot hand? I'm going with the hot hand. And that's exactly what the Eagles did the entire season. It's not an indictment on anybody. It's what they did. Okay? It's what they did. By the way, all supers go to the top. Breaking news, LeBron wants to shake Cooper's hands now. Okay? Just like that, nutbag, all supers go to the top. Okay? They did exactly what they needed to do. They used the personnel. I thought Kellen had an exceptional year. Some of you are going to go, what about the passing game? Just like with Jalen Hurts, who fucking cares? You won a Super Bowl. Remember I told you 2 weeks ago? Kellen Moore now has a get-out-of-jail card that's going to live with his coaching career for the rest of his life. Guy's the coordinator to win a Super Bowl. He'll always have a job in the National Football League now. Always. He will always have a job. Okay? And by the way, LeBron James, who fucking cares about the NBA? I could care less. Wake me up in June. I mean, honestly, wake me up in June. Don't talk to me about the NBA now. I'd have no caring about it. It's not a relevant sport. I'd rather talk WNBA. Okay? I mean, it's not relevant. So the Eagles are going to be in the market for a new coordinator. We spoke with Frank Reich. We'll let you know what he said to me a couple minutes from now. Clint Hurt will also be interviewed for the defensive coordinating job with the Saints. Bobby King, your linebacker coach in Philadelphia, will be interviewed for the defensive coordinating job with the New Orleans Saints. They've got to rapidly put a coaching staff together because the draft is in about, 2.5 months? You've got to get all your intel together. Now, Mickey Loomis, he's going to help them. They've got a pretty good personnel staff there. Obviously, Philadelphia rates it all the time. Philly knows where to go for players. Okay, let's go to New Orleans. So they know what they're doing when it comes to identifying. They just don't really know how to develop. And I think that's been a problem that they know that the Saints have, that the good coaching staffs that have come in here, they have not been what they were hoping them to be. I mean, Dennis Allen could not develop anybody on the offensive side of the football. Okay? Brandon Staley's name is now being considered as the offensive coordinator, and he'd just be working with Kellen. That must have been a pretty incredible relationship that Kellen, when he was there for that 1 year with Brandon Staley, that must have been, remember something here too. Kellen Moore getting that job in Los Angeles, that was right after he was fired from the Dallas Cowboys. Some of this stuff becomes buddy stuff and loyalty. Some of these hires become loyalty hires. Guys, do me a favor. You were incredible in the likes yesterday. Hit the likes, okay? I'm still hungover. We did it, Sills. World champs. By the way, that will never get tiring here. I know some of the media people in Philly are tired. I'll never get tired of that, having somebody talk about being world champs. That will always be posted. Okay? That will always be posted. I'll never get tired of that or never get tired of seeing that. Yes. So, again, excuse me, Brandon Staley's name also is in the conversation. Excuse me, not offensive coordinator. Thank you for correcting me. Defensive coordinator. He's one of the leading candidates to become the defensive coordinator also in New Orleans. You're right. Thank you very much. If I said offensive coordinator, my bad too. So Staley is a guy that they're looking at to be the coordinator. So keep an eyeball on that. Brandon Staley, Clint Hurt, and also Bobby King. Those are your names that potentially could follow him to New Orleans. We're going to take a look at potential guys that could take over for him. Really hoping that Nick doesn't make the same mistake as Doug, promoting from within instead of going out and finding a new OC. Okay? Appreciate your thoughts. Please hit the like button. You hope it is Staley because you don't want to see Clint. You don't want to see Bobby King leave. Hit that like button. 36 years old. Kellen Moore. It's a backup quarterback in the league. Has almost like the same kind of credentials that Frank Reich has. His resume speaks to this. 2019, he was the OC for Dallas. They were 6th. They scored 27 a game. 2020, that's when I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the year that Dak got injured. They fell to 17th. 21, they went to 1st, scoring 31 points a game. 22, he was the coordinator. They were 4th. They went to 27-5. 23, they had that up and down, really awful season, especially with Herbert being injured. They fell to 21st, probably his worst coordinating year as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. And obviously last year they were 7th, and they scored 27 points a game, mainly by running the football. I think he's got a real tall order there in New Orleans. What are you going to do with Derek Carr? Is Derek Carr your guy? Xander made a great point, but I also go back on the other side of that point. You're not guaranteed that there's going to be a good job next year. I brought this up later in the program yesterday. So do you actually really believe that Ben Johnson got a better job this year with the Bears than the Washington Commanders? You think that's a better job? You think that's a better job coaching Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels? Some are going to go, how did you know, Seals? You don't know. Nothing gets guaranteed that it's going to be a good job. You have no idea. Who would you rather coach? Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams? Do they ever produce quarterbacks in Chicago? What's going to turn the worm in Chicago that's going to make that thing different? They got an offensive mind in there? Maybe. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying they haven't done it. That job's not that great a job. Caleb Williams, I don't see it. I don't see it. Frank Reich, Slowick, Patullo, who cares? We're going back to back. How you doing? Hey, you got all that right to say all this now because you're the defending world champions. So I would say this to Kellen. Kellen Moore came in, did his job to the highest levels. Congratulations. You should wish him well. See you later. On to the next one. You know what makes this not that awful? You know what makes this not that awful? You're used to it. This is standard operating procedure in Philly. You're either going to get fired or you're going to get hired. Supers go to the top. Eagle organization is elite. It is. I wanted Vic and Nick fired earlier in the year. They turned the whole ship around and pulled it off with a championship. Unbelievable season. Yes. That's right, Charlie. Next. That's pretty much how they operate. By the way, Merrill Reese, fresh off his call of Super Bowl 59, will join us at 5:30. Okay? Absolutely. Who will be the potential replacements? By the way, today, Big Sills, February 11th. I got 10 questions heading into this offseason. Obviously, we'll add more as the offseason continues. But 10 questions I have for the Eagles as they try to repeat as champions. My take on the roster and how well they performed, and some who didn't, some who excelled. We're going to take a look at that. Please hit the like button. Some of the top prospects to start looking at as you start to see the combines coming up soon, on who will be around that 32 mark. Are you going to trade out? Are you going to trade up? Are you going to move some of those picks to go get Myles Garrett? What are you going to do at 32? 32. By the way, you know how many people here, get this. I heard John McMullen say this today. Do you know that the 32nd pick in the draft is usually a great pick? It's usually a great pick. Why? Why is the 32nd pick a great pick? Why do you think that in the NFL draft it's a great pick? Just a couple observations. Dude, to me, the shittier picks and the bigger risks are in the top. Why do you think the 32nd pick? You know why? By the time you get down to 32, the draft starts to fall in order. Best player available. You ever notice some of the teams that do a great job in the latter rounds? Why? Best player available starts to fall in line. And you're not going to be that far off from the 38th pick and the 47th pick. They're pretty much the same guy. You know, the only thing that sometimes separates those is 1 inch in height. The players start falling in order. You understand the first 15 picks, they're the crapshoot. That's why you see Kansas City, you saw New England, you saw teams forever picking at the bottom of the draft, but finding players. Why? The draft falls in order. You get a quality player, you most likely get a starter down there. How many people looked at Xavier Worthy when he was at the bottom and was the 32nd player taken? Xavier Worthy's a starter for the world two-time champ Kansas City Chiefs. Now it's the Eagles who are the champs, but Xavier Worthy was starting for the champs all season. Okay? I mean, you get starters down there. So when people go, you're not, you're going to get a quality pick. You're going to get a fucking starter down there. And it's going to fall in order for you. Don't just go to sleep going, well, it's the 32nd pick. fuck, it's not going to be one of the top. The top 15 are the crapshoots. Okay? They're going to be the crapshoots. So don't go to sleep on that pick. That's a quality pick down there, especially if you want to move up. So we're going to take a look at that. Who replaces Kellen Moore? I also want to start the program off with this. I went back to my interview with Gary Cobb. Gary Cobb talked to the agent. I wanted to double check. Xander and John have a different opinion of this. And by the way, this is not my opinion. Gary Cobb talked to the agent for Zack Baun and Zack Baun himself, and he believes that he's going on the free agent market and they're going to test free agency. That's not my opinion. Gary Cobb said that from Fox 29 in Philly. So whatever people are hearing, Zack Baun told Gary Cobb that. I posted it on my X. Go listen to it. It's there for you. Fox 29's Gary Cobb said, he spoke to him. And he goes, I'm going to leave it up to my agent. And Gary goes, I talked to the agent. And I go, do you believe that he's going to go in the open market as a free agent? And he says, I do. That's not me. I did not say that. Go listen to the clip. I posted the clip. Okay? Gary Cobb said that. So don't blame me. You can go back and listen to the entire interview. Okay? This is not me. I have no insight on Zack Baun. I just took Gary Cobb, who covers the team, is in the locker room, and was in the locker room after the Super Bowl. Okay? Saying he talked to Zack Baun and his agent. This is Zack Baun's chance to make a giant number when it comes to a contract. Why wouldn't you test free agency? Okay? This is going to be one of the questions. So I posted that thing. I thought that was one of the most compelling things that we had, even with Angelo yesterday, was that Gary Cobb spoke to Zack Baun, and he said, I'm letting my agent handle this. And then Gary said, yeah, I believe they're going to go in the open market. Hey, by the way, M. Reyes, don't shit on the guy who's just delivering a message that the player said. The player said it to him. Gary's not going to lie. Why would Gary fucking lie? He's not lying. One thing I know about G. Cobb, G. Cobb's not a liar. I've known him for 60 years. I've known him since I was like 9, 10 years old. Okay? Go and listen to it on my Twitter page, my X account. The entire comment was made yesterday on the National Football Show. I talked to Zack Baun after the Super Bowl. And Zack Baun, quote, I'm going to let my agent handle this. Then Gary goes, I spoke to the agent. I said, do you think you're going to be seeing Zack Baun out on the open market testing free agency? He goes, I do. Okay. That's another thing to think about. I mean, somebody will overpay for him. Okay, somebody will overpay for him and offer him more money than the Eagles are going to be willing to pay. Okay? So keep that in mind as we go forward with these conversations today. So I do have the questions that I am going to be looking at the beginning here of February for the Eagle team. You guys, how many people think you're going to be repeating as champions? Let's see how many times that's happened in NFL history. Super Bowl champions. Let's see. How many people in here believe that you're going to be Super Bowl champions back to back? Repeat? Okay. You got every right to say it right now. I'm not saying you're stupid for saying it. I'm not. Let's see here. Packers. Dolphins. Steelers. Niners. Cowboys. Broncos. Patriots. Chiefs. 9 teams in NFL history have done it. And you think you'll be the 10th. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. I'm not saying it's a pipe dream. That's not where we are. Nobody's saying that. But do you truly believe that you're going to be in the... How about this? It's going to be fair to say you're in it. Okay? It's going to be fair to say you're in it. So let's take a look at the 10 questions I have here on February 11th. Let's start it off with what we just said. Okay? And for the record, these are all questions that the Eagles are asking. This is about, you're basically rebuilding a little bit of your team for you to get a shot back at being a champion, correct? Eagles have to address these questions as well. It's not just me making questions up here. Okay, and by the way, Charlie goes, it's a realistic possibility. Absolutely it is. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. Give me a total on the likes. We're halfway into the first hour here. I appreciate it. Xander's going to join us at 3:30, and we'll have Merrill Reese at 5:30. Fresh off his call from Super Bowl 59. Let's start it off with the first one we heard yesterday. Gary Cobb says he believes, after talking with Zack Baun, that he will be on the open market. Okay? That he will be a free agent. I think that's interesting. Because I've been hearing people tell me in the media that how he's going to get it done. Well, Gary heard it from Zack Baun's mouth himself. My agent will decide that. And he believes, after talking to the agent, he'll be on the open market. That's not me reporting it. He said it here. Okay? To me, that's pretty big news. Because John's reporting something different. Gary said he talked to Baun himself. And Baun told him that. I mean, hey, we're going to be in the land of misinformation here. Okay? When you're in the offseason, especially as you get ready for free agency, you're going to be, why would you do this? Before we move on with this and off this topic, if you're Zack Baun and you're Zack Baun's agent, why would you undercut yourself by saying you're not going to go in the open market to the Eagles when you've got to negotiate a contract? Why would you give them that fucking leverage? You wouldn't. Why would you devalue yourself? That's okay. I'm going to get it done here. I wouldn't say that either. You're trying to get max dollars, dude. It's not that you don't want to be here, but you can't walk up to your general manager and go, hey, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm not leaving here. Go ahead. Offer us a deal. You think Howie's just going to offer up lesser money? They did that with DeAndre Swift last year. Swift walked out the building. Worked out great. You got Barkley because of it. This is leverage play. This is not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. This is just leverage. Do I think it gets done? I think they're going to get it done. But I thought that was, again, an interesting comment from a guy who was in the locker room and spoke to the guy immediately after the Super Bowl. You would have thought Baun would have said, hell no, I'm staying here. That's not what Gary reported. And he was in the locker room there in New Orleans. Gary called us yesterday and did his interview from New Orleans. Okay. That being said, let's start out. I got 10 of these. Actually, 11 of them. Big Sills, Eagles offseason questions. How much are you going to pay Zack Baun? Number one. Are you going to really pay him $60 million? Someone will offer him that. Dan Morgan, the general manager for the Carolina Panthers, told me someone will clearly offer him $60 million. Are the Eagles going to pay $60 million and pay him $20 million per annual? Are they going to pay him 20? Boy, I don't know. $20 million, making him the highest paid linebacker next to Frank Warner and also Roquan. You're going to pay him the same money as Roquan Smith. Is that right? 3 years, 45 won't get it done, dog. Not happening. How much are you willing to pay for him? How high will they go? How about this? How high do you think the Eagles will go for this? I'll write a number down myself. Would they pay Huff 51 million? That's your benchmark. Hey, somebody tell me, what was Bryce Huff's deal? Can you remember? Was it 3 years, 51 million? Was Bryce Huff 3 years, 51 million? Can somebody confirm that? Because if it's 3 years, if that's 3 years, 51, the floor is 14.5 you're starting at. You're really going to fucking offer him less than what that garbage bag makes? That's insulting. That's insulting. Here's 11. So you're making less than a guy who doesn't play and was deactivated for the fucking Super Bowl? You better. These are the same people that want to trade Kenny Pickett for Myles Garrett. You better fucking come to me with a little more here. You better get the benchmark. The floor is 15. Do you understand what Howie did here? That guy failing. That's the benchmark. 3 years, 15 million. You got to be north of that. You're not going to go 3 years. Somebody just went 3 years, 45 million. So you're going to pay him less than Bryce Huff. The guy who was in the conversation for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Are you fucking drunk? Bryce Huff's agent will laugh at you. And get this, it's not that that's a crazy number. How we fucked up by paying that guy that. Because now he's pigeonholed himself with 14.5. You ain't paying him 12, 13. You can't. The guy on the roster who wasn't even active for the Super Bowls making more than him? No, thank you. I'll go somewhere else. So what are you going to willing to pay him? 19? 8? You got to pay this guy $20 million a year. You got to pay him $20 million. 19. All right. You want to do that? Here's where we are then. Do you guys understand now that money, when we talk about this stuff? Okay? No. Get this. Sills thinks he's a capologist? No. Hey, Trey, you don't have to be a fucking capologist to know Bryce Huff makes what? 14.5 a year? He signed a 3-year, $51 million contract, and you're going to offer me less? You don't need to be a fucking rocket scientist to figure out that ain't working for me. You paid that stiff that. That doesn't take you to be a capologist. That's common sense. That's common sense. Are you really going to insult Bryce? Are you really going to insult Zack Baun by offering him less than what Huff makes? Yeah, let's take a look at what you guys want to do here. Hey, you thought this was going to be that easy? That stiff on your team makes it difficult for him. Here, let's do this. Now, right now, you're looking at, if you're paying him 19, that's $57 million. How much are you willing to pay him? 15? You're going to pay him 15 annually. He'll get more in the open market. Gary Cobb's right. Gary Cobb's right. I'll get 20 in the open market. I'm 27, 28 years old. Yeah, pay me less than Bryce Huff. Oh, you know, I love Philly. Yeah, everyone thought that fucking Kellen Moore was going to stick around to be the coordinator making $2 million when he's going to sign a fucking $50 million contract. And you want him to stick around to be what? The OC for another year in Philly? How dope is that? And it's all guaranteed. And coaching salaries are all 100% guaranteed. Can't be any dopier than that to think that shit. There's no such thing as a great job the next year. So Super Bowl winners want the Brinks truck. And that's right. He just scored 95 points in the NFC title game and also in the Super Bowl combined. And you think that Kellen Moore's going to sign that contract in New Orleans for cheap money? No. You think now also here, Zack Baun was one of the catalysts on that football team, that he's going to take a Bryce Huff contract? How many people think he's going to take Bryce Huff's contract at $14.5, $51 million? That's what you never even thought about, that there's a trash can on your team right now, and that fucking guy makes more than Zach. Zach makes $1.5 million right now. That guy makes $14.5 million. And you're going to offer him the same contract that dude makes, and he doesn't even play ahead of Jalix Hunt. I'm not staying in Philly. Why would I stay it? He deserves more. Why would I stay? Oh, I know. Because it's the Eagles. I want to win. Not bad enough. He'll go somewhere else to get paid. May not win enough games, but he'll get paid. Okay? Once again, get this. Once again. Hey, well, here, get this. This clown said Hurts was over. Hurts fucking starts. Barkley had a better year than Jalen. Those two guys are starters. Huff was deactivated as a healthy scratch for the fucking Super Bowl. Holy cow. You're out of your minds if you think you're signing Bryce Huff back, or Zack Baun back, and offering him Bryce Huff's contract. Everybody kept saying 12, 11, 12, 13. An agent pointed this out to me. You know who? Drew Rosenhaus. Drew Rosenhaus offered this up to me. He goes, let me give you a little insight. How he set the market for edge rushers in Philly at 14.5, 3 years. And that's what the agents go on. Isn't that what Hassan Reddick made? Right? Isn't that what Reddick made? So how he's going to go to Zack Baun because he's inside? We're going to pay you less. Hey, man, top dollar number is Patrick Queen money and Roquan Smith money for the top dudes. How much you paying Zack Baun? Don't offer him that stupid ass Bryce Huff deal. He'll walk out the building. Or anything less. 15, you're going to offer him 500 grand more. You're going to offer him 500 grand more than Bryce Huff, who doesn't start on your football team. That's not exactly how it works. Question 1, unanswered. Oh, and by the way, Gary kind of put a little fuel to it yesterday right here on our show. I didn't say it. Gary talked to the agent. Get this. Hold on. Wait a minute. I didn't say this. Gary Cobb did. He talked to Zack Baun Sunday after the Super Bowl. That's not my take. I didn't say it. He said it here. So, don't look at me. How much guaranteed money do you start with? 40, 60? Maybe. Somewhere in there. Dumb take. Huff plays a different position. Okay. Huff plays a different position. It's true. It's edge. The two interior linebackers make $20 million, Roquan Smith and Fred Warner. And you're going to have a guy who is going to be on your football team, and you're telling me a guy who does not start, you're going to have on your defense making more money than him, who's the centerpiece of the defense. Fucking awful take. Baun can play edge. Baun can play anywhere. It's evident. He's a Swiss Army knife. Okay? Mickey Loomis is a terrible GM. Mickey Loomis has a Super Bowl as a general manager. Sills, I'd give him 20 million, sign-in bonus 60, or 20 million sign-in bonus, 60 over 4 with 50 million guaranteed. Huff only has 34 million guaranteed extra year with more guarantees. Okay? You got yourself a dominant linebacker again. He's better than Edwards. So go ahead and pay the price. I think you're right, Machiavelli. I think you're right. Okay? He's a game-changing player. He's just not TJ Edwards, who's a tackling machine. This guy's a playmaker. You can put him anywhere. Dude, Travis Kelce was a non-factor in that game. And I think that had a lot to do with Zack Baun out there. Get this. The two things that Zack Baun did in that Super Bowl that are not being looked at enough, the job they did in the run game against the Saints run game, and the job that they did covering Kelce. They never got going because they couldn't get their run game going. Okay? Why didn't you read what I actually put in the $10 super chat? Here, put it back up for this guy. Please, Xander, if we can. 40-6. Let me see. What did you say here? Dumb take. Huff plays a different position. What the fuck are you? Comparing a defensive end to middle linebacker. Baun would get 18 per. Saints GM sucks. Don't know why you think that. Why they have no cap room left and the team sucks. I don't know what you're talking about. Saints GM sucks. Don't know why you like him. That's why they have no cap room and the team sucks. I don't give a shit about that take. Dumb. They fucked themselves with Huff because even if we move off him, we've got to eat the cap and offer a great deal for Baun. Here, William. Dude. Like I said, Bryce Huff, his contract at 3 years, $51 million for a free agent at that position. Okay, you're going to turn around and you're going to say to Zack Baun, well, because you play middle linebacker, we're going to offer you $11 million. Is that really what you're going to fucking say to him? $18 million, fully guaranteed over 3 years with incentives. Philly done. Philly, these people don't get it, man. It's a fucking shame. Hey, it is. Gary Cobb said his agent told him they're going to test free agency. I didn't say it. Go back to yesterday's interview with Cobb. I even asked him, I don't know. I don't talk to Zack Baun. The fuck are you talking about? You think I made that up? Lions $50 million cap space for Baun. He's gone. $100 million in Washington. Do me a favor. Go fucking listen to it. How stupid are you? I didn't say this. You can't be any fucking dumber. Jesus criminy. Question 2. Who replaces Sweat? How are you replacing Sweat? Who's replacing Sweat? How are you going to replace Sweat? And by the way, not every one of you in here, 99% of you are absolutely awesome in here. Okay? There's just a few ding-dongs and dingbats. Not a lot. It's actually different now. Many of you are fucking brilliant in here. Because I know it's early, but if we can get Oren, I like Oren. I think he was a great centerpiece of the team in the postseason. Do you think we let Trotter take the next step? And how do you like this kid, Jalen Walker from Georgia? I got a list of these guys. Okay? I got a list of these guys. Thank you, James. Hey, James. Your boys are coming. Your Commanders are coming. Who replaces Josh Sweat? Jalen Hunt. He's going to replace Josh Sweat. You're going to gamble with him. Okay? Have I seen enough to say that he's going to replace Josh Sweat? Absolutely not. He's a rotation piece right now. Do you know who Jalen Hunt is right now? He's Bryce Huff, New York Jets. Could he evolve into being a better every down player? Yes. Not saying he's not. And you know what? After watching what those guys did player personnel-wise, the coaches and player development, he may be that good of a player by the middle of next year after what I saw. I'm not saying that that's not out of the realm of possibility. Right now, no way. But do I see him over the rainbow that he could be? Maybe. Maybe. Who replaces Josh Sweat? Sue, I'm with you. I believe in Vic too. Supers go to the top. Give me a total here. Please, guys. Who replaces Josh Sweat? Okay? Unless you trade for Garrett or Crosby, Sweat can only be replaced by bodies. Moore, Smith, and Hunt. And the edge you drafted 32. Okay? By the way, I don't believe any answer is wrong here. I don't believe any answer is wrong. Free agency, okay? You got to replace the guy. Josh Sweat does not want to play in Philadelphia anymore, and Philadelphia doesn't want Josh Sweat anymore. Drew Rosenhaus is preparing teams right now, and they're going to present Josh Sweat to opposing teams. And he's already making the rounds. The Miami Dolphins are already interesting. Come on, people, think. For as intelligent as Baun played this year, do y'all really think he's an idiot off the field in his negotiations? William, they think they're going to fucking keep the guy in Philadelphia because it's the Eagles and you want to win another championship. Fuck that. Players want money, man. Howie's got to get in the room. You're not going to offer him $11 million knowing that a guy on your front seven makes more than you and he sucks and he doesn't even play. Yo, Sills, parade is Friday. Don't you dare try to get out of coming. I will be highly upset with you and your wife. Should be here for Valentine's Day. Ace. That's a tough putt for me, man. Okay. Thank you, Ace. Ace, congratulations to you, man. Keep cheering. I'll never get tired of people saying world champions. You earned it. I'll never get tired of that. Okay? I will never get upset with that. So, who are we replacing Josh Sweat with? Who are we replacing him with? Who are we replacing him with? Give me a name that you're going to replace him with. Hunt and draft edge. Okay? Hunt and draft edge. That's the game plan. Is Hurt staying with the D-line, Sills? I don't know what is going to go down with Brandon Staley and Clint Hurt. I know that Bobby King, those will be the three guys that Kellen's going to talk to. And it would not shock me if it comes down between Clint and Brandon Staley. Okay? So your edge next year is going to be a draft pick and Jalix Hunt. Is that right? Okay. That's okay. Got a lot of time to kick this around because things will change. Hit the like button, okay? Number 3. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Give me a count on the likes. Guys, they're great. Like I said, 99.9% of you in here are spectacular. Okay? There's just a couple dickheads in here. Get this. I never said they're getting rid of Baun. I asked the question. You didn't hear the question, obviously. How much are you willing to pay for Baun? And the Eagles are not going to have an open checkbook on this. Open your fucking ears, some of you. How much are you willing to pay for him? Seals, what did you think of the Jimmy Johnson segment before the game? I thought it was special. I loved it. They did that AI thing with him. I didn't know Coach was close to retiring. Okay? I didn't know that. By the way, here's Xander here. Xander's going to be on with us at 3:30. Hey, I'm not saying no, there's no wrong answer here. Seals, I might be willing to pay $20 million. How he works the contract the right way. And Howie's way? Okay. So you believe, Xander, that Eagles will play $60 million over 3 years. It may have to get to that number. You know why? Because teams have that money. Let me ask you something here. Hey, James Jones, let me ask you this. James Jones, your Commanders have what, $100 million, $97 million in cap space? What would a player like Zack Baun look like on that Washington Redskins defense if you put him in the middle there? This guy wants to pay Zack Baun less than Bryce Huff, who doesn't even play. Okay. Hey, James, what do you think Baun would look like in a Washington Redskins uniform next year? What do you think he would look like? I'm not letting Baun walk if I can. No way. I agree with Xander on that. They got to come up with a way to make it happen. That is something that I thought about too, dude. Let's see. Let's see what a franchise tag would be in 2025. Projected franchise tag for linebackers. $2025. The franchise tag for linebackers in the NFL in 2025 is $27 million. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. 27.5 million, actually. So it had 8 sacks last year and 6.5 the year before. Jalix Huff, and Rookie can make up for the production. Hey, by the way, real zeal. I'll make this point to you. Yeah, but those guys don't play the run like Josh. Sorry. Yeah, here is the projected franchise tag for linebackers 2025. $27 million. And what they're basing right now, the cap is going to be somewhere between $265 million to $275 million. That'll be the cap. You ain't signing Zack Baun for $27 million. You're not tagging him for that. That ain't happening. Those are two. Hey, I wouldn't. I'm not sure I would tag Fred Warner with that. I mean, is there really a defensive player in the league outside of Myles Garrett that I'm going to put $30 million on? I don't know. That's an awful big number. Yeah, well, it is $27 million. Franchise tag for linebackers. Right here. The projected franchise tag for linebackers in the NFL in 2025 is $27 million. Ooh. And you're going to offer him 11? Are you really going to offer him 14? When the franchise tag's $27 million? Would you think this offseason was going to be easy? Let's see. It's a good question. How much does Roquan Smith make? He signed a 5-year, he signed a 5-year, $100 million contract. His numbers are 24 salary, spread out, obviously. Last year's salary, cash payout was $18 million. His salary was $9 million. He made $27 million. Woo! In 24. 25 base is 15. He'll make $38 million this coming season. Excuse me. No, that's not. That's that cash payout. That's cap hit if you were to cut him. His dead cap value right now for the Baltimore Ravens is $41 million. All you got to do is read. Ain't no capologist here. Okay. So JT's Roquan makes 20. You're going to pay Zack Baun when the cap is up, and salary should go up, and the tag is 27. You want to pay him 12? I would pay Baun 15. Well, that will be a tough negotiation then. Okay? Would you bring Greenlaw from the 49ers and try to sign Zach? dude, I like Oren Burks. I'm good with him. I think the guys that they have in the building are good. Okay? Well, I don't know what this means. That's not true. Dude, he's lying. All you got to do is Google it. Any idiot like M. Reyes can read. It says it right there. And I just went to the NFL Players Association on what the cap and what the franchise tag is. Here, I'll give you one even better here. Projected franchise tag per position. If you were going to put the tag on anybody. Projected 2025. Projected. By the way, this is what Howie's been doing the last 2 months. Here, let me read my friend here. I think Baun and Becton should be a free agent priority. Milton is in a class below them. And in the draft, we got to find our next right tackle. I think Sweat is gone, unfortunately, but we need money for Carter in the next year. I also am going to do that in what's being brought up here. Okay. Defensive tackles, 20 million, 0.9. Wide receiver, 20 million. Defensive end, 20 million. Quarterbacks, 36.3. Corners, 18. Those were the 24, excuse me. Those are the 24 numbers. Those are the 24. These franchise tag numbers are fucking insane if you're going to do it and tagging these people. The numbers, because the numbers have gone up here. Cornerbacks are going to be 19.9. Linebackers are 25. Defensive tackles are 24. Defensive ends are 21. Quarterbacks are 39. Running backs are 13. Safeties are 18. And tight ends are 13. So don't fucking sit there and think you're signing Zack Baun for some fucking $11 million when these franchise tags kind of set the high bar on what you're going to do if you want to keep a guy like that on your team. Howie Roseman's not signing Zack Baun with the franchise tag of $25 million. Now, again, think about this. Over 1 year, would you sign him on a franchise tag for $25 million and then figure it out? Ask yourself this. The Eagles are not known to doing this. Would you sign Zack Baun to see if, how about this one? Would you sign Zack Baun to a 1 year, $25 million franchise tag and find out if it's a 1 year wonder? All you're out's $25 million. Zack Baun's making 1.5 now. Who fucking cares? Would you franchise tag him? I don't think that's a stupid play. I don't think that's a stupid play. Prior to March 17th, I don't think that's a stupid play. You got to find out if he comes back and has another season, then he's 29. Then you get to negotiate lesser money. You don't want to be a dick about this, but we're talking contracts here. Would you not hang with? Hey, somebody's going to go, man, they signed him for, what's the number here? 25 million. 25 million. 1 year contract. Wow, that's a lot of money for 1 year. Yeah, but I'd rather do that than 60 and 40. 40 guaranteed, 60 on the deal. Back end, the guy sucks. Then you're pigeonholed in that deal and you got Bryce Huff hanging around your neck. Right? Hey, franchise tags are fully guaranteed. Don't panic. We got Fangio to teach. Break the bank for Baun. Okay. Hey, by the way, no wrong answer. Then in the house of veteran leadership, a necessity. Sweat can walk. Train the young pups. Okay, William, thank you for the dude, February 11th, there's no wrong answer here. Yeah, Abe, that's what the franchise tag is. It's guaranteed 100%. I don't think, somebody help me. Yes, senor. Personally, I don't think, because here, I got this here too. I want to read you this. And this is what people in the NFL Players Association are saying about Howie. Follow what Senor's doing. Hey, this is a great conversation. I told you. We're still on question 2. I'm not even to question 11 yet. Hit the like button, guys. Great conversation. I want to show you something else here. Senor, I'm going to get to your take here. Has Jordan Davis done enough for an extension? Machiavelli. Let me read this to you. Okay. This is from the NFL Players Association. Let me show you something. Looming extensions that are coming up for the Eagles. Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. They're saying for the majority of the Eagles free agent moves this year, they're going to be limited to 1 to 2 year deals. That's not counting Zack Baun because of all the impending 5th-year options that are going to be coming up. Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, Jalen Carter, and Nolan Smith. Okay? They may be only in a position to sign 1 or 2 year deals because they got a but. Hey, let me show you something here. You know, Xander keeps telling you, hey, we're in a great position because we got younger players. Yeah, well, those 5th-year options, they make it harder to. This is why there's 35% turnover every year in the NFL. Why? Because you can only sign. So do you know, you want to hear something even crazier? Half the league is built on non-drafted and low picks for a reason. Not everybody can have first, second, and third round tags to them. Dude, you got to steal with Mulata, a 7th round pick. He's underpaid. But Mulata was a 7th rounder. Mulata, do you understand that Jordan Mulata is not even still in the conversation on the highest paid offensive tackles in the game? Because he was so far behind the sticks on a 7th rounder. Diamond in the rough. Hey, why do you think Brady and Russell Wilson helped you build the team? Eagles too. What is the number one thing that helped the Eagles, the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson and Brady? Their quarterbacks were drafted not in the 1st round. They didn't have to give a boatload of money to them. Okay? They never had to. Brady was on a 4-year, 3-year, 7th round or 6th round contract. They addressed it in the 3rd year, gave him more money when they could, and they could build players around him. Same thing with Jalen. Owner came parachuting in going, hey, give him the money up front. Fuck it. See if he'll take a lesser base. It's exactly what they did. Later round picks, if you hit on them, give you autonomy to build your roster up. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Hey, dickhead. I said this, fuckface. Anytime you wanted to say world champions, I'll stop the show. Go back to your closet, kid. Because you draft later and you get those hits later, that helps out. You're building your roster. Okay? That helps you out. So once again, let me go back to the first and foremost question. How much are you willing to pay Zack Baun will be a major conversation. And like I said, I don't know Zack Baun from a can of paint. I have no idea who Zack Baun is. Gary Cobb on our program right here talked to Zack Baun minutes after the Super Bowl and said, hey, he goes, what are you going to do in the offseason? I don't know. My agent will decide that. Then Gary talked to the agent. The agent said, we're going to test free agency. Fox 29's Gary Cobb. That's why we get him on. I didn't say it. We're going to break them. I believe he should. That's right. Very good stuff. Thank you, Bob, for having some common sense. Sills, this exercise is showing us that salary discrepancies between O and D we discussed at the beginning of the year is going to handcuff us in moves on offense. That's right. Because of all the money you've got on one side of the ball and a miss with Huff, Bradbury. Now, Bradbury comes off the books. So listen to this. Are you going to keep Slay? Bob, can you tell me? Kyle, you're my statistician. Okay? How much is Slay projected to make? Sills, you got anything was bad that ain't shit? Hey, James, I love you, man. I think your Commanders are going to have a great offseason because they got the money and the picks. Okay? Abe, is that right? How much is Slay going to make? How much is Darius Slay going to make? Slay wants to come back. And if you can make it work, by the way, that's Drew Rosenhaus. Okay, that's Drew Rosenhaus, too. Okay? Bob says that Slay is 13-7. That's the cap hit. That doesn't mean. Okay, so 13-7, projecting probably around 9. Slay is in the 13 range. So here you got a $14 million corner, and you got a guy that is probably coming off the books of Bradbury, right? What are you going to do with Bradbury? I thought it was more 10-2, Tony. I thought it was in that 10 range. I thought they cut a new deal last year, or maybe going into this year with Slay. Okay? So I don't know what Bradbury's doing on the fucking team. I mean, they kept that guy around, man. Okay? Dude, if you think signing Baun is going to be a cakewalk, you're out of your mind. Yeah, but by the way, like I said, so if you give these contracts up, you got Jordan. Are you giving Jordan Davis? Well, let me get through my 10 things here, because this was something that I kind of wanted to hold off on. You got pending deals coming up. Here's another one. Do you need more depth now in your D line now that Williams is leaving? Do you draft the D lineman or do you sign one? Howie can't sign a D lineman. He's got to sign a B student again or draft one. So are you going to go into the draft with the D lineman? If I'm Howie, I'm going to stay away in the D line, especially in the tackle position. I'm going to stay away from veterans. Why? Because they're cheaper. They're on rookie deals. And I've got 2 veteran guys. Hey, by the way, will somebody do me a favor? Is Ojimo, is that guy a free agent? Because I'll tell you what, I wrote it down here. Ojimo and Booker, they can play. Okay, are you going to be willing to lose one of them guys? Okay. He just finished his second year, got him another year. Okay, good. At least another year. He'll be in his third year. You got another year with him. Okay. Keep that there. But you're losing Williams. You're losing Williams and Sweat in your D line. Are you going in the draft? Or are you going to go free agent? Remember, you got to pay Zack Baun. You got extensions coming up. What are you doing? Number 4. Do the Eagles really want Mekhi Becton back? At what price? Here we go again. If this is our new normal, we're going to have to learn to walk away from players, develop and get used to picking in the 30s, etc. This is what coaching is so vital and sustains success. Dude, why do you think the Patriots in Kansas City move off of great players? Exactly what you're saying, William. They move off of Tyreek Hill. They move off of Honey Badger. They moved off of Richard Seymour. They moved off of Darrelle Revis. These were guys that were Hall of Famers in their prime. They moved off of. Richard Seymour made the Pro Bowl like 3 or 4 more times with the Raiders. Revis ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year with the Jets. That's exactly right. You've got to be willing to walk away from some of these guys for roster integrity. Do you know that I used to say this all the time about Bill Belichick and the Patriots? Their cap integrity from top to bottom was insane great. They never overpaid for anybody. Dallas's biggest mistakes they make, they overpay for everybody. That's why they have not had great success. They overpay for everybody. New England never, and nor does Kansas City now. They never overpay. General, look at this guy. Haven't we had a parade yet? Bro, what do you want me to sit around here all fucking day cheering? Nobody's never been. Sit around here fucking worrying, having parades all day. I do a talk show, guy, not a fucking cheerleader show. Wrong show, man. You get plenty of those around Philly right now. That's not what I do. Sit around talking about fucking celebrating all day. And I told you on this program at the beginning of the show, I'll always stop for someone that says world champion Eagles. Did I not say that? Use your fucking ears. Here's another. Hey, Becton. How much do you want Becton back? Let's see what the cap's going to be for offensive linemen. Franchise tags $24 million. Franchise tags $24 million. Mekhi Becton is starting O-line on a team that had a 2,000-yard rusher. Major part of it. How much you paying him? And when I say how much do you want Becton back? How much is, you know where you show me your love? In the paycheck. I don't want this kind of talk. Don't tell me how fucking great I am and pay me peanuts. Because then I don't believe you. And you're trying to give me those attaboy conversations. Nobody likes attaboy conversations when you're a professional. They know you're full of shit. Boy. Wolf. Yeah, I'm the 20th paid guy in the team. Attaboy, fuck that. On that note, world champs, babe. I told you, Gabe. All supers that have world champs in it always have time for that. Eagles aren't in cap hell. They're well They're a well-run organization. That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you, are you going to pay a guy? How much are you going to pay Becton? How much do you love him? 15? You think that's enough to keep him? Or do you think there'll be a team out there like Kansas City who needs to rebuild their old line that will offer him 18.5 or $20 million a year? Dude, I know no disrespect to Xander and John McMullen this morning. Tyler Steen's not Mekhi Becton. He's the next guy. And just out when we trust. Sure, okay. But Becton's a different animal, man. 6'8", 380. Massive size in there. You lose size and you lose athletic ability. Tyler Steen is not that guy. He's a decent player. Becton, you know why he's crying on the sidelines? He didn't know how good he was a guard. You act like Steen's a scrub. No, you're downsizing. Literally. By the way, you haven't replaced the right guard position until Mekhi Becton got here when you lost Sayamalo. You've never replaced. Well, Juergens did an okay job, but he wasn't. He wasn't Isaac Sayamalo. Isaac Sayamalo was better than Cam last year. Cam was functional. Isaac Sayamalo ended up getting a $16 million deal with the Steelers. Pretty good offensive talent last year. They ended up falling off the planet last year. Here's number 5. Does Barkley have enough help for 2025? Do you think Barkley needs more help? Okay? No. Okay, let's take a look at this. Barkley stats. Let's take a look. This year with Saquon. Let's take a look where he is. Saquon had led the league in carries for the first time in his NFL career. Prior to the 345 carries, he had 100 more carries than the year previous. He had 75 more than the year previous to that. He had 260 to the year previous to that. He had 310 before the year in 20. He had 160 more carries this year than he did in 19. And he had 200 more carries this year than he did in his first year. So for the first time in his career, at the age of 27, going to be 28, you think Saquon Barkley, what did we say? He had another 60-some-odd carries, well over 400 carries, plus the receiving touches. How many receptions did he have this year? He had 33. So you're talking about a guy with about 450 touches this year. You think Barkley needs more help next year? Do you? Would you draft a running back? High pick? Guys, do me a favor. Please give me a total on the likes. 99% of you guys are great in here today. Just fantastic. Great stuff. I mean, guys are on top of it. Hey, by the way, isn't it great to be celebrating, talking about your team at 25 and how you're going to repeat? Dude, Howie's already hard at work. What do you think? He's drinking from his cleat? He's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Congratulations, man. I mean, to me, this is, hey, and by the way, I want to say one thing. You know how you guys are in here saying, celebrating the parade and all, which is true. Do you think your championship team was made starting February, probably through April? Do you think that's when your football team was made? Your championship football team was put together from February until June, right? You didn't build your football team in September. You built it now. You became Super Bowl champions in February. And if you want to be Super Bowl champions again, you're building your team from February to June. Are you not? And for the record, here on February 11th, I'm not telling you you're not re-signing anybody or you're re-signing everybody. I don't know. Remember what my topic was? Big Sil's big questions heading into the offseason. Don't get your fucking panties in a bind. Relax. Calm down. Enjoy yourself. Stop crying. I think Barkley needs some help. Here's another one. Who will be the next offensive coordinator? And how will that coordinator change the offense? What do you think Milton Williams makes next year? $20 million. I'm not sure if we're going to get Scatterboo in the draft, but he'd fit right into this offense since he's more of a power runner with elusive ability. Yeah, I like him a lot, man. Dude, I like his story too. What is it, Sacramento State? He went to that, had no scholarship offers. And then he turns over at Arizona State, turns into a superstar kid. I like him, man. I think we have good enough coaching in place to be able to move off all three guys and not see a major drop-off. You mean like 23, when you moved off of every linebacker you had. You moved off of Epps in the secondary, and you had a shit 23. Hey, dude, I'm not saying that you're going to have 23. I am not saying that. We're having a conversation on February 11th. Okay? And you may be right. That's 20. You may be right. Remember what I said. These are questions I'm asking you on February 11th. Don't get so sensitive, folks. If we lose more, you've already lost him. He's the new head football coach of the New Orleans Saints. He's gone. He's done. It's gone. I reported it earlier. He's gone. He's done. That's why I said the next offensive coordinator, how much is he going to change the offense? Why would you? You want a Super Bowl playing it that way. Now, do you want to elevate and do you want to get better? Every coordinator is not the same. You could have this. You know what's funny? I was talking to Xander prior to the show, and this kind of goes along with like being a coordinator and also a talk show host. Rush Limbaugh, I've told you this story years ago. I went down to West Palm when he had his studios in West Palm. And Rush Limbaugh, my agent, and a guy who ran iHeart for 25 years programming, his name was Gabe Hobbs. He found me along with Randy Michaels, legendary broadcasters. They sent me down to Rush for 10 days. Everything I knew about broadcasting, I ripped up after that day. Rush Limbaugh goes like this. I want you to read the Miami Herald to me. So I'm reading the Palm Beach Post, Miami Herald. And he goes, now listen to me read it. And I'm reading it back to him. And he's like, now listen to me. I listen to Rush and I'm like, holy shit, it's delivery. It's delivery of content. That's the key to this thing, isn't it? He goes, yes. You now know what the secret of Rush is. It's the delivery of content. Same thing with a coordinator. You could have the same playbook that Kellen Moore leaves behind or Shane Steichen. That doesn't necessarily mean Brian Johnson's going to read it the same way and deliver the content of the playbook the same way. You think that transition's going to be easy? Didn't it start out rough when you were 2-2? That's not what you think. Well, we'll get a new coordinator in here, and it'll be just a snap. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Is Clint Hurt getting the DC job elsewhere? Gabe, I think it's going to be Brandon Staley or Clint. I'm hoping Clint stays in Philly. Kevin Patullo's going to be the guy elevating from within again. How'd that work out last time? Just asking. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I'd do it again. Not every hire has anything to do with the previous fire. It has nothing to do with it. Okay? It has nothing. Machiavelli. Do you go full back in the draft? Oh, so you want to go I formation and get rid of the... Oh, wait. Machiavelli with a good take. Machiavelli, do you want to take the third wide receiver out and put an I formation back there to help out Barkley? Put a fullback back there, take the third wide out, have two wide receivers, tight end, fullback, and that helps Barkley? Not a bad thought. You get nothing out of the dumb shit wide receiver 3 anyway. I mean, you get nothing out of that anyway. Why not drop a fullback back there? You're a fucking running team. Shit, you know what I might do? I might put Mekhi Becton's ass back there at my fullback and then run that thing with 6 offensive linemen. Shit, you think push? You'd never stop that Eagle team. Holy shit. I thought that was another one. I'm going to get Xander up here in a second. This wide receiver 3 thing, hey, why don't you help Hurts out a little more and make wide receiver 3 more productive? You think that would help Jalen out a little more? If you actually made that thing a competitive position? I mean, oh, man. We broke news yesterday here and didn't even know until someone pointed it out to me by the name of Drew Rosenhaus. Boy, if you think, hey, that Oren Burks, or not Oren Burks, but Zack Baun is going to sign a contract when you got a stiff on that team that's making 3 years, $51 million. And the franchise tag's $24 million. Woo! Remember, go back and listen to the interview. Gary Cobb said it. He talked to his agent. And that ain't a Sileo-ized. Yeah. All right, my friends. Hey, enjoy yourself at the parade. Please hit that like button. Give me a total on the likes. I appreciate it. Get your Hamason's ass out of here. You bet.